the book to Christians too. It says his words can't be erased. Surah 15:9, his promise in place. But if the Quran's the final say, it contradicts the Bible's way. If the Bible's true, Islam falls apart, a dilemma that tears at the heart. Surah 7:57 talks of prophecies, Muhammad's name in ancient decrees. Yet the Torah and Gospels disagree, no sign of Muhammad's prophecy. But if the Quran's the final say, it contradicts the Bible's way. If the Bible's true, Islam falls apart, a dilemma that tears at the heart. The Torah scrolls predate Jesus' time, the New Testament's truth in its prime. Teachings from disciples, close and clear, contradict what Muhammad brought near. But if the Quran's the final say, it contradicts the Bible's way. If the Bible's true, Islam falls apart, a dilemma that tears at the heart. Reconcile the words from long ago, the challenge lies where fate's winds blow. A dilemma set in ancient script, a question that won't easily be eclipsed. Truth revealed, can't disguise, contradictions rise. Open your eyes, they find words, they're not compromised. Uncover the lies, no compromise. Truth revealed, no more disguise. See the flaws, don't be blind. Divine words, they're not compromised. Uncover the lies, no compromise.
And here we are to uncover one of the biggest lies Dawa have been using for years. I am joined today by my lovely wife as well as Hatun. Welcome.
Hi.
So for those of you that might not be familiar with each of these people, you guys want to introduce yourselves? We'll start with Hatun and then go to my lovely wife.
I am a lovely person too, and I am the most lovely and most humble person. I am Christian. I believe Bible is the word of God. I believe in triune God. I believe eternal Son of God, Lord Jesus Christ, died on the cross for us, and I believe whole world needs to know that. So that's what I believe, and I am involved with something called Christian Apologetics and Polemics, making sure Muslim world is very much aware how false ideology Islam is. And I am here today. I think I kind of invited myself. That's how I am thinking. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I always told you that all the live streams are open to you. So my lovely wife, what brings you here today?
Mostly you. I was invited, I think. I may have also forged myself in. I can't quite remember on this one, but happy to be here. Also help expose the lies of Islam and point to the truth of Christ.
Okay. To be honest with you guys in the audience, the only one I actually invited, I invited two other people. They were not able to join us, but those were the only ones I actually invited. Okay. The other two people on the screen weren't necessarily invited. They just kind of like, I'm joining.
Well,
so,
who were those people? Who were those people who rejected your invitation?
I wouldn't say rejected, more like I waited until last possible second and they were already doing a live stream and then they weren't able to join.
Brother, name them and shame them.
I'm not naming them and shaming them because the shame's mostly mine because I didn't send them a message until half an hour until a live stream. Be like, oh yeah, we're doing this live stream. You guys want to join?
Name them, shame them, brother.
I just want to know who I'm the understudy for.
What? What was that?
I want to know who I'm the understudy for. Who am I the backup? Who am I the replacement for?
A replacement? No, you just barged your way in. You're not the replacement. You're just here. Hey, welcome.
just a clarification purposes. So we share the same StreamYard, and then I saw the topic like long time ago. I was just checking who is the guest, and you just sent me a message other day to say like, are you coming? So I'm just like, okay.
Well, yeah, you're the guest now, so there you go. Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. It's
Might
very
cause you to
simple.
doubt, sister.
People commit suicide from the rejection. No one wants to be the second choice, and right now I feel I am fourth choice here. But anyway,
Don't worry, sister. So is the Quran.
Well, Quran's kind of the last choice, but yeah. To be honest with you, you were the first one to offer. Well, let me rephrase that. You were the first one to say that you're going to be the guest. My wife then decided she was going to be the guest, and then I'm like, I'll send out a couple other invites just to get some other perspectives on this. But again, my poor timing and changing of the dates kind of suck. So that would be on me. So I already see a bunch of people in the chat. So let's start off with the obvious question. Why does this matter? Why does, if the Quran was perfectly preserved, matter one way or the other? Do you want to give any insight into that?
So as a Christian, I can share my perspective that it actually probably doesn't matter as much as Muslims make it out to be. For example, a math book could be perfectly preserved, but if there's a typo in it from the get-go, even if it's perfectly preserved from that point, it's still not going to be correct. And in the same way, I would think, even if the Quran has said the exact same thing since it was created, well, it's still wrong. When I read it, there are still errors. Even if those errors have been perfectly preserved, it does not help the case at all. And likewise, if it said truth, which it doesn't, but if it did say truth, but there was a typo in it, and then another typo in it, and then another typo in it, if that truth is still properly conveyed, even if there's a couple of typos here and there, the lack of perfect preservation, as you were, wouldn't actually impact the message. So on either front of this, it doesn't seem all that important in the grand scheme of things. It's, did it intend to say truth? Does it still say truth? For the Quran, both of those are no. It did not intend to say truth, and it does not currently say truth. Versus like the Bible absolutely intended to say truth and still says truth. So that's my thoughts as a Christian, who is a Christian, by the way, because of the truth, and not because I was just born into something or anything like that, but because I've studied and seen that the Bible does indeed align with reality, and God has effectively communicated his love and his truth to us.
Okay, so I'll comment on it. Why is it important? It is important because God knows how many billions Muslims are out there. That number is changing every day. Let's say 2 billion of them are being lied by their sheikhs, by their imams, by their friends, by their loved ones to hear the statement that Quran has been perfectly preserved. And there are lots of people who convert into Islam with hearing the lie of Quran has been perfectly preserved, and many people stuck in Islam with living in a lie that Quran has been perfectly preserved. So by default, it affects these billions of people's eternity. That's first point. Second point is, this might be like from Christian perspective, the way when we hear Muslims are saying Quran has been perfectly preserved, and then next statement is dot by dot, letter by letter, sound by sound, word by word. From Christian perspective, you just kind of laugh at it and then, oh, okay, blah, blah. But from Muslim perspective, those are pretty big deals. So Quran has been perfectly preserved and Bible is not preserved. That's the like second half of the sentence. Default comes to Christians. So that's another point. And Another reason why it is important, because it is taking people to hell. If preservation of the Quran is a lie, what else is in the Quran lies, such as Surah 4 verse death and resurrection of Lord Jesus Christ, identity of Lord Jesus Christ, and work of Lord Jesus Christ. Everything is being misrepresented and everything is being lied. Core Christian doctrine is being discredited by this book, which Muslims screams out and then says Quran has been perfectly preserved. You might remember interview back a couple of years ago between Yasir Qadi and Mohammed Hijab, where Mohammed Hijab was simply questioning under the kind of huge topic of preservation of the Quran, Ahruf and Qiraat. And then he asks Yasir Qadi, well, if I give you empty Musaf, what would you write? And then Yasir Qadi seemed like Allah knows best. So that interview was 3-4 years ago, maybe even 5 years now. Back in 2016, Mohammed Hijab has been exposed to different Arabic Qurans. Before that, he was exposed to tradition of Islam, where it has been expressed that Quran is not being preserved. And today, just today, someone sent me a link. The video is published today by Mohammed Hijab, where Mohammed Hijab saying, by knowing actually Quran is not being preserved, and today's video, which has been published, he's simply saying, we all know Quran is being preserved. So why it is matter whether Quran is preserved or not? Because we don't want people to live in lies. So we want to expose that. We want to expose when people are lying, when people want to live in a lie. We want to expose that with the light.
Now, to my understanding, the concept of the perfectly preserved Quran was not always there. In fact, if we look at the Hadith, it definitely looks like they accepted that the Quran, there are sections missing from the Quran that wasn't always perfectly preserved as it's currently being claimed now. Again, it's critical that's perfectly preserved, because if this is not the exact same thing, then if you're reciting it according to what Islam teaches, then on the day of resurrection, the little birdies aren't going to come defend you. But yeah, so we look at the Hadith and we see over and over again that Muhammad didn't remember sections of the Quran and had to be reminded of it. And then, oh, yeah, that's what I said. Or there are times that they have different variants between the Qurans, which are, again, a bit of an issue. So I know they say that it's just different dialects, but when we look at the actual Hadith of it, it's not really different dialects. It's the same guy that would know both dialects seems to have an issue with it. Is that your understanding?
You made such an interesting point. So it's been only a couple of decades that Islamic sources are being translated to English. Therefore, Western world is very much where what Islam teaches, and then therefore we step in to expose it. Only a few decades regarding the Hadith. Quran has been translated to English for a couple of centuries, but kind of commentaries has been just still like you've got Quranic commentaries are not even being translated yet. You look at those writings and then you get to see, yeah, Western world become aware of that Quran is not being perfectly preserved. But Arabic speaking world very much aware that Quran has been perfectly preserved. So it is only less than a century that the idea that Quran has been perfectly preserved entered the world. Why? Because they are very much aware there are Westerners who are reading writings. So they need to come up with new dawah strategy. Therefore, they are introducing such arguments. So before that, like, for example, bringing up the 26 different Qurans, or currently it's 37 different Qurans. So you look at the Islamic tradition and then you just see it's not only Islamic tradition is talking about it, but they've got list of the books. They are simply saying, here's the examples of differences. So those things were not like strange to the Muslim world. But because Muslims kind of entering the West, they are trying to project Islam differently in the intention, okay, yes, let's convert this world, let's convert this world. So therefore, those such lies stepped into the world. Yeah, so early Muslims very much were, even like Muslims in 800s are still actively writing about how there are differences within with the Quran Muhammad had, as well as Quran they are reading today. Companions of Muhammad is talking about, like Aisha is talking about, everyone is talking about there are problems in the Quran. But it is sad, Muslim mind doesn't come from the mindset of let's read and investigate. So they just take whatever they've been told, no need to check anything, and then they just pass that information.
Yep. In fact, I think it was not too long on Truth Defender's channel, and he is in the chat there. Welcome, brother. But yeah, that we had a Muslim who specifically told us, yep, it's perfectly preserved, letter for letter. That whole lie that still persists. And I still get comments saying that it is absolutely perfectly preserved. But again, if you look at the hadith, you don't see that. In fact, you see it being eaten by a goat. In Sunan Ibn Majah, 1944, we see that it's eaten by a goat.
Well, we don't know whether that goat was healthy after eating that, but we know the goat ate it.
We know the goat ate it. We know that due to some testing I have performed, which some people may or may not be involved in, it seems the goats could, in theory, live through that. Just saying in theory. But he might have been lunch the next day. Who knows? But that made the people holy? I don't know. Seems like it. But yep, we have examples of companions of Muhammad, Uthman, burning the Quran manuscripts, destroying them, and then later on, oops, we missed a couple. You know, don't let anyone say that he recites the entire Quran, just what is left. Again, that causes a massive issue for Islam because, again, you're supposed to be able to recite the Quran. Allah is supposed to have preserved his word this time, believe me. Third time's the charm, right? Third time is the charm to be able to perfectly preserve it because the other ones, according to the Muslims, were all corrupted, except for that one. But yeah, we still see Muslims today still saying that it is. We've had Muslim scholars who have refuted that. And we have, again, the companions of Muhammad and the writings that are contributed to them, the sayings that are contributed to them, still all say, hey, it's, you know, we've got missing sections. And it doesn't take very long actually reading the Quran to realize, yeah, a lot of these stories are missing entire sections that definitely should be there. I think you only have one, if memory serves, you only have one complete story in the Quran, middle, beginning, and end, as far as narration goes. I think it was Joseph, if memory serves.
If you think about that, if you think in that sense, like not only stories are not complete, but even the certain, for example, Bismillah Rahman Rahim, that like Basmala of the Quran, it's almost in every chapter, every beginning of every chapter, except Surah 9. So that verse, Muslims still having debates whether that verse is part of the Quran or not. Not only like, okay, we've got incomplete stories, we've got stories stories do not match with the Bible, but also today in 21st century, Muslims are debating with one another whether Bismillah is part of the Quran or not. You've got Muslim world today divided. Quran only Muslims don't have two verses of the current Quran, which rest of the Muslim world has it. Because even though, yes, you expressed it was eaten, Ibn Abbas said, okay, we don't have the full Quran, all that. Still, today's Muslims are not agree regarding what's supposed to be in the Quran. I find it's like sad, like sad.
And again, we can for Christians, from the Christian mindset, we can have textual variants within the Bible itself without having any issues with that necessarily. Where, unfortunately, with the Quran, you have to have it perfectly word for word the same according to their claims. Again, that's something that's relatively recent. And my lovely wife, I see you starred something of your own comment. Would you like to just say it?
Yeah, so you made a reference to this, and I wanted to just put one of the quotes for it in the chat. Do you mind if I pull it up on screen?
Sure.
So it says, "Let none of you say, I have got the whole of the Quran." And by the way, this is a quote from Umar. So, "Let none of you say, I have got the whole of the Quran. How does he know what all of it is? Much of the Quran is gone. Let him say instead, I have got what has survived." So, again, even from the leaders within Islam, early leaders, the rightly guided caliph, quote unquote, whatever, one of them even recognizes this.
So this is Umar's son, right? So
Umar,
Muslim,
yeah.
I thought this was Umar himself.
Abdullah bin
Yeah,
Umar.
that's what's quoted.
Yeah, Abdullah bin Umar said. So think about it, as Al said, who is the one who is stating this?
Umar. Yeah.
Leader's son. So someone who has power and authority over things are simply saying, excuse me, gentlemen, you can't say we've got the full Quran. And this is approximate 20 years after death of Muhammad. Like by this stage, Quran has been like a second time compiled. Still, there are debates regarding what is in the Quran or not. Strange Muslim world is like leaders are simply stating, well, we've got problem, but somehow it looks like today's Muslim missionaries or Muslims are not getting this memo.
Nope. And they're still trying to sell it as, oh, this is something that's been there the entire time. It's like, no. If 20 years after Muhammad's death, they're having this issue already. Now, granted, I think that would make, if it's 20 years, and it's been about 8 years since Uthman burned the Qurans and compiled the official Quran, according to him. So if we're talking about less than 10 years, and you already have people saying, we kind of have some of it. It's our best guess. And you get Muslim Dawas who are trying to sell us today that it has been perfectly reserved for 1,400 years. No, I would disagree with you based upon your sources and what you say your own leaders did. Because, again, in Islam, and I've mentioned this before, not on this one, but in earlier live streams, in Islam, the first couple of generations are supposed to be like the best of the Muslims. It's supposed to degrade after that. So, yeah, if they're already telling you, the best of the Muslims are already telling you, hey, we don't got everything, you probably shouldn't be making that claim.
Even going back like event before that, the main reason they are compiling the Quran, what is the main reason they are compiling the Quran? Because people died in the battle. they lost big chunk of the Quran. So therefore, they need to compile it. It's already been lost within 2 years after the death of Muhammad. It's already caused lots of problem within 20 years after death of Muhammad. And that caused second Quran to be put together. So main reason, like, I find it's very too much lie when they say it's been perfectly preserved, because within 20 years of the history of the Quran, you get to see the suffering that Quran is going through.
Yeah, what gets me even with the story of them compiling it is very interesting, because they don't, they have to, let's see, it was Umar had to convince the other companions that they needed to compile the Quran because people are dying and they're losing it, and he's afraid that he would lose all of it, so you got to compile it. But their rejection of that concept is, how dare we do something that Muhammad himself never did?
Yeah.
So this is something that Muhammad never gave orders that need to be done. This is not something that was completely alien to Muhammad himself, according to his own own companions. Sorry, hun, go ahead.
Not only that, but even before Muhammad died, even while Muhammad was still alive, even Muhammad didn't remember all of the Quran. And there are sources to back that up as well. So it's pretty crazy to think that Muhammad asserted that Allah causes parts of the Quran to be forgotten, even, but Muslims don't take Muhammad or supposedly Allah at their words that it is not complete.
So
which I think is also like a likely excuse, but sorry, go ahead.
I think his comment sums up pretty well. Preservation is very Islamophobic. Very Islamophobic. Talking about things being preserved, not good. So I know you've done this before, Hatun, where you've had the Hafs and Warsh and a couple of the other different types of Qurans together, and I've highlighted them.
Mhm.
And I've gone through and done something similar in a previous video, and I'm going to throw that on up here, some of the differences. And again, you guys can check out, just go and check these out. So Hafs is the more commonly used one here in the West. Warsh isn't. And Warsh isn't really translated into English either. You kind of have to do the translation part. But in this video, I do highlight some of the differences between the two in the actual Arabic, which is key because it's supposed to be the Arabic is supposed to be preserved once you start actually pushing them on it. It's the Arabic that matters, not so much the translations. So here we have Hafs 554, and yes, some of the lettering is not the same. Warsh, in Warsh, it is 556. And there is,
because they
you look
can't
at the,
it's because of the Bismillah, so whether Bismillah
Yes.
is counted as verse or not.
yes, so there is small, and again, not a big deal in my book, but I don't know if that would bother some Muslims or not. But here you have, and I've highlighted a box around it where you have, yes, some of the Arabic is different between the two, giving you two different translations here. And let's see if I should highlight where that is here. Wrong one. I should probably just click the right one here. And it zooms up and shows the differences between the two. Again, this is two different Arabic Qurans. Let me go to one that is very obvious between the two. Here. And doesn't change the meaning, but it changes how it would be said. And again, it would be a variant between the two where you have Warsh drops the and. I highlighted the little, it looks like a little G with a line above it. It's the and. But that does change between these two here, and that is Hafs Quran 3:133. And it's the same for the Warsh on this one. So, and then I have a PDF linked in the description that you can check out that will be, which is the Warsh, and you can just Google it, and there's a free PDF of it that you can go through. And that's the page number line down. So if you look down, you find the line that this is on. And there are quite a few. I think I just highlighted 10 here, but there are sections where they're just missing words between the two Qurans. See right there, you got Allah is the free Allah is the free of need versus Allah, He is the free of need. Again, not that big until you get to some of the others, which do have this end section here, which actually is number 10 on my list, which is a huge issue. So I can get rid of that down here. Nope. Okay. Where this one is 2848. Hoffs says 2 workers of magic. Warsh says 2 magicians supporting each other. So either 2 works of magic supporting each other, which is a common way Muslims recite it, or it's 2 magicians supporting each other. And the reason why I find this one more of an issue is this is supposed to be a direct quote of a historical event that's happened hundreds of years beforehand, before the Quran was revealed. So this is part of the story of Moses. They are supposed to have rejected him, saying, hey, and this is some of the explanation of why Muhammad doesn't have any miracles. It's because they rejected him. They wanted 2 works of magic supporting each other. The war says 2 magicians supporting each other. Doesn't really make sense in the context, but that's what the translation actually means between the 2. So,
Do you mind if I make a couple of points on what you've been sharing?
sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Poke holes in it.
So, a few problems of the way you are leading the argument. Claim is from Muslims. I've got clips after clips Muslims are stating. Quran has been perfectly preserved, dot by dot, letter by letter, sound by sound, word by word. Okay? You don't even need to go and search. Here's the example that the consonantal letter is missing from Quran 1 to Quran 2. Here is example that it affects it makes huge difference between 2 different Qurans. You don't even need to go through any of those things. All you need to do is just debunk their argument, hold the 2 Quran, doesn't matter even if the meaning is the same. Show them two different Qurans that the dots are in the wrong place. Because remember the argument. Perfectly preserved, dot by dot, letter by letter, sound by sound, word by word. That's their argument. Mm-hmm. And now, the way they are trying to kind of handle the argument is, actually, what we mean is, there are differences, but it is just the dialect. It is just the sound of it, the way you pronounce it. But you told me, sound by sound, it's exactly the same. How come now is the dialect or the sound or the recitation is different? After you kind of move on from that argument, the next argument, sound is different, but meaning doesn't change. And then what we do is we deal with the next one. Okay, here's the examples for you that meaning changes. But you already kind of moved from the co-argument. Co-argument is there is only one Quran, perfectly preserved, dot by dot, letter by letter, sound by sound, word by word. Then why? Like you said, you've got 10 different examples. And like I can see, this is from clip. I can see like it says 10 dot vowel differences, 2848. Like any Muslim who has got brain moving around is going to say like, oh, we didn't have dots in 7th century. How come this gentleman produced a book, tells me vowels are different? They didn't have those things. They were not even formed. Like you've got 8th century manuscripts. It is not still fully formed. You've got 9th century manuscripts. It is not still fully formed. So co-argument is dot by dot, letter by letter, word by word, sound by sound is preserved. So we let them get away with that. We say, I'm giving you example. See, it changed the meaning very, very, it makes the meaning very different. Because they couldn't handle it, what they've done is like, during the COVID, they published this book, Bridges translations of the 10 different Quran. And then the gentleman, he's a Muslim missionary, who puts the book together. He gives you 20 different Qurans. Even the name of the book is like 10 Quran, but you've got like 20 different name of the Qurans in that book. He's going through 20 of them. And then he's following the same argument we are trying to make to just like debunk the co-argument. Oh, well, there are some vowel differences, all this, but he's the ones which affect the meaning of the word. And then in his book, he says like he just put the 30% that affects the meaning. That 30% is quite a lot. Quite a lot. If anyone wants to get that, it's Bridges translation of the 10 different Qur'an. Its PDF is available. It's all footnotes in the bottom of the PDF. Each page just shows you what are the differences. But yeah, just make sure we stick with the main argument. You told me dot by dot, sound by sound, exactly the same. Here is dots are in different place. Sound is God knows what. The word is different. Meaning is different. It's just messed up.
Well, there are missing words. Some of the beginning ones were just straight out missing words to it.
The one you showed is very important. Go back to the one which has and in it, Surah 3, verse 133. Or this one is okay as well. This is the same argument. So one of the this example, those of you who are watching, keep this example in your mind. This is the example you use to respond. They are going to tell, Muslims are going to tell you, because last couple of years missionaries are trying to kind of develop new arguments. They are going to tell you, well, even though I've got God knows 37 different Qurans, 10 different Qurans, whatever, how many different Qurans out there, all of the consonantal letters are exactly the same. That's what they are going to tell you. Surah 57 verse 24, because they are going to say they are all those letters are consonantal letters are exactly what Uthman put together. It matches with Uthman's Quran, therefore I accept it. And then you point out is the Surah 57 verse 24. There is missing consonantal letter from one Quran to another Quran. Which one are you following? And then you've got the same example in Surah 3 verse 133. So the point of those missing letters is argument respond to the, even the consonantal letters are different. Therefore, this does not match with the, one of your earliest Quran you claim that Uthman sent it out.
Yep. And that's why I've tried to highlight where the missing letters are between these two, because yeah, that makes a huge difference.
It's
if the claim is the sounds are exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter that the meaning is the same. It matters that the sound is absolutely gone. The word is just not there.
Yeah.
Between there. And again, you can
consonantal letters. This is consonantal letter differences.
Yep. So that one, I think the other one was back here.
Yeah, 3-100.
Here's another one, and one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the and is missing here.
Yeah, just
between
like
the two.
Looks like number 9. What happened to that letter? Was that letter in originals? Or basic question, is that letter in the eternal tablets?
That I've never got a good answer for, because they don't seem to be able to comprehend that it's even missing to begin with.
It is answer is Allah knows. Allah knows best.
Allah knows, yep. Allah knows best, and that's it. Just raise your hands. Allah knows best. Not going to deal with it. So yeah, I do highlight it in there, and yes, you'd have to go through the Arabic to find it. The and I think is the easiest one to find in this one, because it's just at the very beginning of the verse itself. So it's right there, easy to find. But yeah, so I give you guys the PDF. I give you guys the line and the page number, so you guys can find it and then count down the lines, and you will have that section. Compare it to the Hafs, which you can find very easily online. That was the easy one to find.
There is even a website called Quran. You can simply go to that website. Shows you the differences now.
Well, that would have been convenient.
I
had to do this one section by section.
Well, all you needed to do is just drop me email. I could send you all these things. You didn't need it to do it. But there's a website.
Well,
you can go through and then like each verse, and then it shows you. And then there's another website shows you even non-canonical versions as well. But all you need is like one example. It's more than enough. One Quran, one different Quran with one example. It's more than enough.
Well, I think there is definitely a power to be able to do this and say, hey, multiple people have looked at the same stuff and have come up with the same solution here. And this seems to be, well, again, a big issue for them, because if their claim is perfectly preserved, and that's why you should convert to Islam, because the Bible, obviously, according to them, is not perfectly preserved. The Quran is. A bit of an issue. I know that Sneeko, who just converted not too long ago, was saying that on his live stream, right after his conversion, basically. Was like, hey, the Council of Nicaea was taken out of the Bible, but the Quran has never been touched. It shows you how much research he's actually done into it.
He didn't say that, did he?
Yes, he claimed that the Council of Nicaea was a book removed from the Bible by the Council of Nicaea. It was painful. And yet he's the one that's being... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't even know if he knew who removed the book of the Council of Nicaea, but he thought the book of the Council of Nicaea had been removed from the Bible, yeah.
I thought he was claiming to be like Christian who converted into Islam.
That's what he claimed. He claimed he did the research.
Because I wasn't around.
Converted.
Yeah, I wasn't around when he converted stuff, but this is just... He didn't say that.
He did. He seriously did. There's even an entire song.
I heard the way he was like pronouncing Matthew Gospel was like very bad.
Matt.
Yeah.
I can't find Matt. There's a Matthew, but there's no Matt. Where's this Matt?
Oh, I didn't hear that, but I just heard that he said like he called Matthew Gospel Matt or something. I didn't know it was bad. Yeah. Don't show me, brother. It make me stumble. Better to not know.
Hey, this guy's the guy they're panning around right now. Uthman's like showing him around, trying to make him a dawa, the next hot dawa on the scene. He's gone to Speaker's Corner to debate Christians there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bad. But that is the highlight of his intelligence on it. So I don't have his direct quote, although I definitely should do that one, but this does have it in it. Thank you again to Sal for allowing me to use his music all the time. But
they did remove the Council of Nicaea from the original Bible. A lot of people haven't read those parts of the Bible.
You're saying there's a book called the Council of Nicaea?
Yeah.
There's not no book called the Council of Nicaea.
It's not a whole book, but there was a council called the Council of Nicaea that manipulated the original Bible.
What did they change?
I don't know.
Why are you talking about stuff that you haven't really looked into?
My point
so that was from his original live stream while he was debating someone and trying to prove that the Bible has been corrupted. But this is a whole song about it.
Wow, people made a song about it. Nice.
Yeah, Sal makes crazy songs. That's what the music at the beginning was from Sal. He does great work.
Do I know him?
I don't know if you do. Not very well. I mean, he's not very well. He's only got like
beginning song was very nice.
So he's got. So I've used a couple of his. And I'll use it on the outro as well, a different one. But he's got a ton of songs. I haven't gone through all of them yet. But a lot of them are... There's Mohammed Ajab there. But he takes a lot of the live streams and he'll remix them. And he does a great job at it.
What you are pointing out to me is a gentleman... Well, there's a question mark whether gentleman or not, but who become a Muslim. not only making like these awful claims about the Bible, but also going far beyond and then stating that actually Quran has been perfectly preserved. Why? Because Bible back up that Bible is not being preserved. And those
Dot for
people,
dot, dash for dash,
yeah,
hook, line, and sinker. And yet, this is still something that is being promoted today, even though we know that it's been altered. There's plenty of evidence. We've done multiple videos on it. There's still people converting based upon this. And it is, fortunately, very sad. Hey, Brother Yusuf is in the chat. Welcome. Good brother there. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. Be ready because they're going to run across this over and over and over again. So I know, Hatun, you mentioned about a website that they can go check out if they've got any sort of contradictions or anything like, or any interest in seeing those contradictions. What was that website again?
and Quran.com or something. Let me just check. There are like a few different websites, but where is that? And Quran.com. So that just like shows you you just write the verse and then you can see as you scroll down, you get to see. Thank you, Phil. Phil is here, brother.
Phil's always on it, man. He's a mod on like every channel I've seen.
It's not only that, like he's just mod, but like he's got every references you need. Okay, just like
oh yeah, I can always trust Phil. I'll be like, yeah, Phil, what's that one reference? And I'll give some random quote, and he'd be like, oh, here we go. A few seconds later in the chat, he's got it perfectly. A link to it that everyone can go check out.
Yeah, so you've got nquran.com shows you, and then also erquran.com shows you as well. But much easier version is because if you don't speak Arabic, you don't want to kind of end up in an Arabic debate. Person is going to make stupid claims. Just get the British translation in PDF form. It is written by a Muslim for Muslims with the footnotes, and all of the footnotes. He simply says, well, this Quran is different than this Quran in this word. And in the PDF, even like he's done an amazing job. Like the word that is in question, he wrote that in red color. So like now they're translating those to English. They want people to be aware of it. They're just deceiving why there are those differences, but it is out there.
Why are they making our job so easy?
Well, the moment they start
counterintuitive, in my opinion.
The moment they start moving their lips, they are making our job easy.
That is true. So I think we've covered this. Yes, it is the question of the live stream, the Quran's preservation, completely utterly fiction, even according to the Muslim sources early on, shows that it is all completely fictional. So, my lovely wife, what would you like to plug today?
It seems your lovely wife is not so lovely. She's not there.
Well, rude. No, come back to me in a sec.
Okay. So, Hatun, what do you have coming up?
Coming up for
this week?
Oh, actually, yesterday, I had 5 people get baptized from Muslim background. It was very nice. And this week, what's coming up? I've got movie night.
Oh, yes. It sounds like a very interesting movie.
Yes. My movie team, I am hoping they will come with the clips. I know 2 members of the movie team can hear me clearly. What was the name of the movie we are going to watch?
Kingdom of Heaven.
Kingdom of Heaven.
You haven't watched it yet?
No. So that's coming up. I'm doing some stuff on Islamic dilemma. how does Quran confirm the Bible? And then I kind of put all videos all together for a couple of weeks back, because when David would ask me, I wasn't around, so I kind of started a little bit late. I put the video, I recorded videos. I'm just trying to make them online. So I've got some stuff on Islamic dilemma is coming, and then I've got some stuff on some of the what lovely Muslims are doing. I've got some live streams. I'm gonna bring them to people's attention, as well as if Lord wills, tomorrow, if I'm able to do it. There is this free speech thing is happening in UK, kind of country messed up. I don't know if you were able to notice or heard on the news. So police officers enters this retired police officer's house because he put something on Twitter. They search the house. He gets arrested because he's got like so much Brexit stuff, reading Brexit stuff in his house. So I'm going to kind of talk about freedom of speech, as well as there is a gentleman who back in January or February tried to burn the Quran in front of Turkish embassy. He's Turkish guy, and he got stabbed. He spent time in jail overnight, and he's like kind of going through a legal process with the police. It turned up that actually he's officially charged for insulting and causing stress to institution of Islam. So Islam is just becoming more untouchable. I'm just going to talk about those kind of things this week. Like,
so wait, I just want to make sure I got this right. So the man decides to burn his own book,
his own property, in front of a Turkish embassy. Yeah.
Someone comes out and stabs him.
Yeah, stabbed him.
Over this. The police show up and they're like, "Oh, the stabbing guy. Oh, he's fine. You guy who's down there bleeding on the ground, you need to go to jail." And
he was held in police station. So before, like you are held in police station before they take you to jail. So he was held in police station. And then after, they didn't even bail him out. It was like kind of problematic. Anyway, Free Speech Union is amazing organization in Britain. They stepped in and they're helping him now. Yes, the guy who got stabbed simply paid the price of burning the Quran in front of Turkish embassy. So he's got like court things. Yeah, a guy who stabbed him went back into the building and he's on the streets. Maybe your next door neighbor. Maybe your next door neighbor if you are in South Kensington area. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with Truth Defenders there. Guns save lives. Yes, definitely. If the police force is just going to show up and arrest the person who is being stabbed to death over, I mean, fine, polluting or whatever, maybe shouldn't legally be allowed to just randomly burn things in public. Okay, no, you can make an argument for that part.
No, by law, he's allowed to do that. It is his property.
It is property.
He cannot do that in a park. In Speaker's Corner, it's against law to burn something, including like make barbecue or like burn things in a park. It is against law, but I can stand in front of the mosque and burn the Quran. It is my property. I have all the right to do so. Why shouldn't I? Like, whose job it is to tell me what color underwear I'm gonna wear? Anyways, just
obviously their job now.
Clearly, it is their job. They went through this. Another gentleman's they got into his house a couple of while back, and then they decided this guy has so much Brexit things in his bookshelf. He's reading Douglas Murray. You know who is Douglas Murray? So apparently, think about it. You are in prison. Prison is a very awful place. Okay, don't end up in prison. So you are in prison. Everyone is like, your first night, you just entered, everyone is just sitting around, you are new, you don't know what's happening. People are asking you, why are you here? Your response, well, I was reading Douglas Murray. I
read too many books.
Yeah, so that, like, yeah, that's like how it messed up. You just go to prison for reading Douglas Murray. That was another case a couple of years back. The guy, they told him he was reading too much C.S. Lewis.
What?
Yeah.
Well, they better definitely not come to my house.
But
that'd be bad.
On the other hand, since we are gossiping on these things, on the other hand, if you remember last year, and in August, this Muslim convert murdered 3 kids, and then it caused riots in Britain. Mm-hmm. You remember that vaguely? Yeah, so that gentleman is in jail, in prison now. That gentleman is getting his kettle and his telly in prison, and then he boils water in his own kettle, in the kettle he has in prison. He's got kettle. I don't even have a kettle. He pours that boiled water to the prison officer, and prison officer is in hospital. So,
how does that not surprise me?
A few weeks ago, or even maybe a month ago, another jihadist in prison, the guy's brother, who he murdered lots of young people in Manchester Stadium. And this is the mastermind behind arranging all that bombing stuff. He apparently gets access to the kitchen regularly, goes and then cooks his own food in the kitchen. They are not happy, like people are distracting them, all those kind of things. Anyway, so in the kitchen, he gets boiled oil and then throws to the police officer. So it seems like prison is, for some people, not everyone, it seems prison for some people is very nice place. So I think, by God's grace, I want to kind of talk about how messed up we are.
Well, sounds good. I look forward to at least hearing your perspective on it and what is going on across the pond, as such as it is. At least how they would say it, or you would say it, across the pond. So I know I will be back on Wednesday night. I have got a special guest that will be going over some of the more popular people and why they are converting to Islam, why this seems to be the trendy things that Tate and Sneeko and these other popular individuals who have a platform are converting to Islam, why they're doing that, and what the cause is behind it. I'll be doing money. Oh, no. No sneak peeks. No sneak peeks yet.
I never heard this Sneeko guy, okay? Until like when I heard of him. I heard of him, they post something on Twitter saying like, Saudi is offering him this much money to promote Islam. I'm just like, wow.
Yep. Goes back to the almighty dollar bill or whatever currency they are currently transferring it into, whatever crypto they're using to transfer it back and forth. But yep, we'll be taking part in that. Then I'll be joining you for that movie night. And then next week, I'll be going over some of the Crusaders and some of the history that is not taught in our history classes. So thank you guys so much for joining us. And my lovely wife, would you like to plug something now?
Yeah, so I'm going to put it in the chat real quick. So hopefully that'll show up on here in a minute and I can pull it up on screen. I'm actually going to plug something that I did a while back because I think it ties into this live stream really well. Gives all the sources on screen for you guys to go through a lot more in depth. And so I did a live stream called Muhammad's Dead and So Are His Narratives. And I did that with some of you guys and some other YouTubers and apologists. And so we went through a bunch of different things that I think are very important. And like I said, some of the things that tie into this more in depth. We talked about how Allah did not preserve Muhammad's life. Allah did not preserve Muhammad's righteousness. Allah didn't preserve his words. And we went through even more, but broke that one down specifically quite in depth about all the different ways that Allah failed to preserve his word, including it being forgotten, as proven by the Quran itself and Hadith, it being eaten, it being lost in battle, it being burned, it being missed. And so, yeah, if you guys want to see those sources on screen, I think that that could be a really good resource for you to follow up with this video. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to plug, and hopefully I'll see you guys again on Hatoon's stream as well.
Ah, there we go. Tam's Cup of Tea. I met him down when I was at the the Ark encounter. It's good to see you. Randomly just show up there. I wasn't going there for any sort of video thing, just for the fun of it. And yep, Tam's Cup of Tea.
Is that like normal?
Good to see you there.
Is that normal cup of tea? I understand in America people drink cold tea.
I don't know. It's just what's there. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be back again. And I know next Monday I will be on Truth Defenders channels covering, I think we're having a debate on a couple of different topics, or covering a couple of different topics. I got to do the work for the thumbnails yet. Haven't done it. And she says, I love hot tea.
We can be friends.
There you go. You got Hatoon's approval. Fantastic. So I will let you guys go here shortly. But as always, we'll go ahead and listen to Ali Dawa in one of his most compelling arguments that I happen to agree with. But as always, Dias Volt.
Please don't accept Islam. Islam says kill, destruction, murder. Please don't accept Islam. Islam says beat your wife up. Beat your wife up. Please don't accept Islam. Islam says you have 4 wives. 4 wives. Please don't accept Islam. Islam says this and that about women. And woman has no right.
The most important argument is go to the origin and the source of these religions. Let me compare Jesus with Muhammad. Let me compare Jesus' life with Muhammad. Let me compare the apostles' lives with Muhammad's companions. And there is no comparison. It's day and night. The fruit of Jesus in the lives of those who knew him was love one another unconditionally. But then I see the fruit of Muhammad and his companions: chaos, disunity, slander, murder.
Islam says kill, destruction, murder. Kill, destruction, murder. Islam says kill, destruction, murder. Kill, destruction, murder. Kill. Islam says please don't accept Islam. Islam says kill, destruction, murder. Please don't accept Islam. Islam says beat your wife up. Beat your wife up. Please don't accept Islam. Islam says you have 4 wives. 4 wives. Please don't accept Islam. Islam says this and that.